This is Dr. Herbert Harris, and this is another edition of Success Talk. And today we have, I'm going to call, we have a superstar. We have Lorene Brown Watkins, has been my friend from the days of Dick Gregory when we were both kids, and has been a lady that has always been an entrepreneur and one of those people that no matter what happens, she'll always come out victorious. So, Lorene, welcome to Success Talk.
Well, it's a pleasure. Thank you for having me as one of your guests. And yes, we go way, way back since I was in school, since I was in
Wow.
kindergarten. Yes.
Yes, yes. Well, Lorene, I love for people to give a little background. It's funny how you can know people all over so many years, but just a little background, where you came from and, your early years and kind of how you became the person you are now.
Okay, great. Well, I was born in Panama City, Panama. And I was raised by my mom, who was a single parent. And my grandparents sent for us here in 1966. So my brother and myself, we migrated to the United States in 1966 and went to school here, went to Christian education all my life. And from that point on, when we came, our first language was Spanish. So we had to, go back one grade to learn English. We didn't have ESL back then. Today they have ESL. They didn't have that. You just went back a grade to learn. And so that's how it started with me. And I learned a lot of my leadership skills and things like that from going to church, because my grandmother was very religious. And I didn't know back then that's where I was going to get my entrepreneurial skills from, because she used to always sell religious books, at Times Square and at Amtrak and all of that. So we used to have to do that all the time.
Wow.
And so we were heavily involved in the church and was with the group, just like the Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts, is called Pathfinders. And that was back in Harlem. I went to Ephesus Church in Harlem, USA. So that's where I grew up, in Harlem. And then I went to Brooklyn when my mother came to this country, maybe 10 years later. But that was my early beginnings as a child into young adult. And that's where, kind of things took place, and grew up right on 123rd Street between 7th and Lenox. I know you know that place well.
Yes,
And
yes.
my grandparents still have that place. My aunt has it now, right on 123rd Street.
Wow.
And I go back there all the time, and just things were just totally different back in the Black Panther days,
Yes.
right around the corner. So
Yes.
that's where I came from, Herbie.
Wow. Now, how did you get into entrepreneurship? I mean, because I've always known you as an entrepreneur.
Well, a friend of mine, I had moved to California, got married, moved to California, and a friend of mine, she invited me to, a meeting where she was going to be awarded. And she got a big trophy. And the trophy was the top show giver. And I was like, wow, this is great. And I said, well, Nina, how can I do that? She said, girl, don't even worry about it. You'll never be able to do that. Well, that was the beginning of something huge. And here we are 35 plus years later. Wow. And the following month, I got into the company and became the top show giver as well. And that was a skincare and cosmetic company. And from that point on, then I went on to the Dick Gregory diet, where I met you. But you know what, Herbie, what was really funny, because I never was into any of the sales or anything like that. I thought people were crazy who didn't know how much their check was going to be next week or next month. So I was not one of those people who were like, oh, I can't wait to be an entrepreneur. I can't wait to be in sales. But the rest is the future. Here we are. And I haven't looked back. I haven't worked for anyone in 35 plus years.
Wow. Now, Lorene, that's one of those things. When you said that, that's really what being an entrepreneur is. You determine the size of your check. If you don't do nothing, you get nothing. Now that's something for our listeners. I think that's the difference between the entrepreneur. There are people who have to have a job. I mean, entrepreneurship is not for everybody.
Absolutely.
You can say that uncertainty of knowing how big, well, forget if there's going to be a check. I know as an entrepreneur in the early stages, It wasn't about how big it was going to be. It was like, will I get one at all? Yeah, And so that takes a certain mindset, and it really, I think it goes back to your faith. When people have a job, and when you said that, it resonated with me. A job means certainty. You know, it's like I am certain to get paid a certain amount of money that will not be enough to take care of me in the lifestyle I'm accustomed, but I'm going to keep working at it to get it. All because I need to know that it's coming.
Yeah.
As opposed to the entrepreneur who says, you know what, I can do better. I can be more. I can have more. Mm. So what was your secret, in entrepreneurship? I know in network marketing, you seem to have a way of making people feel comfortable, making people feel whatever the person's blockage was. You seem to have a way of helping them get beyond that. How did you do that?
Well, I like to give back what I like to receive, Herbie.
Mhm,
And you were one of my mentors back then, with Dick Gregory, Ali Yassin, and I just was committed, 30 years ago, that I really had people's lives in the palm of my hands.
mhm,
So I didn't take that lightly because people
mm,
believed in me, people trusted me, people wanted to see, wanted to fulfill their dreams and goals. So, you know, because I told the person when I first got started, I wanted to see how to make $100,000 because
mhm,
everybody was bragging. All you guys were bragging about how much money you were making. This is 30 something years ago, y'all.
mhm,
These guys were making 100 plus,
mhm,
mid high six-figure income. And I was
mhm,
excited about that. But it
mhm.
wasn't, I stopped getting really excited because I knew it was possible. But I wanted to see how I can get a check with my name on it because y'all's check couldn't be cashed in my bank account.
Okay.
So
All
I
right.
just wanted to know how I could do it. So
Mhm,
all I did really, I was coachable, I was willing to follow instructions, and I was trainable. And I just want to, I want to say that what I believed in, and I still believe in today, the fame to claim for me as far as building large teams and things like that is the relationship building. I want to say I have a relationship building instead of network marketing or sales or things like that. We build relationships because it's like a family after
mhm,
people get with us, because we literally, people tell us their goals and their dreams, and now we have to go to work to help them fulfill that. It's a partnership. It's
mhm,
just not me coming to you now, Herbie, telling me what my dreams are,
mhm,
and I sit back and watch you, make all the money for me. No, it doesn't work like that. It's a
mhm.
team effort, and I learned that many, many years ago, and I still continue to do that even today, just to make sure that we literally know that we have people's lives in the palm of our hands, and
Wow.
I don't take that very lightly at all.
Wow. Well, as you were saying that, I was thinking that phrase that said, people don't know, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you
Much you care.
care. And that's an awesome responsibility when people say, first, that when a person who has not been an entrepreneur comes into your business, that they're trusting you a whole lot, you know, and you have an obligation. And I think that's one of the reasons for your success. You saw it as an obligation. There was a time, and sometimes network marketing got a bad taste when people say, let me sign you up, let me get my commission, and then good luck. Okay. And leave you and walk away. And then if that doesn't work 90 days later, you say, well, you signed me up 3 months ago and nothing's happening. And they go, hang in there. But you represent, I think, the best in our industry. That we're really in the dream making industry. Would you agree?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. The bigger the dream, the better it is for each and every one of us because we help people fulfill their dreams and goals. And you know what, as well, a lot of people don't believe in themselves anymore. People are losing
Mm,
hope, people are losing faith in themselves. And sometimes we have more belief in a person than they actually have in themselves. But they have to be able to see that they can win as well. They got to come with something at the table. You just can't
mm,
come with a blank sheet to the table.
yes.
We can assist, but it's a team effort. not just one-sided, Herbert.
Mm.
And you know,
Yeah.
back then, back in the golden age, you know, where we come from, our word was our bond.
Yes.
You know, you say something and you know you meant it. But today it's a different ball game because people
Yeah.
have so many different options, and
Yes.
there's a lot of bad apples out here. Companies that come and go, people, you know, schemers, scammers, all of that. But people could kind of see through a lot of that stuff. And what people are looking for is people who are genuine.
Mm.
And we actually see a lot of stuff in people that they just don't see in themselves, especially with this pandemic. You know, it's a lot of stuff. People are carrying a lot of baggage, and it's just a pleasure to be actually working with individuals to help them to fulfill those dreams and goals that they have, Herbie.
Wow. You know, I love the phrase you say people carry baggage. And you know, so many times when we meet people who want to see a bigger vision of themselves, who want to achieve, you know, when we sit down with a person and we say, well, what are your expectations? You know, what would you like to happen for you in this business? You know, what is your why? Why are you doing this business? And when they share it and tell you the things that they want to be and do and have, and you say, man, and then when they start, they bring baggage. And you know, the interesting thing about baggage is like at the airport, you got to bring that baggage with you. At any time, you can leave the baggage behind. You know, it may be the baggage of past failures. It may be the baggage of past disappointments, past relationships. And so when people come into our industry, we really have to help them leave their baggage behind.
But
Wow.
that's the hardest thing for people.
Yeah. Yeah.
They want to carry the heavy load.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know, they want to carry because my grandmother had it, my
Uh-huh.
great grandfather, my great, you know, we all was broke, we all was poor, we all lived in an apartment or on a farm or whatever. So, you know, I have to keep sustaining that. No, we
Yes.
have to make change if that's what you want to do. You
Wow.
don't have to carry that baggage. And once, Herbert, to just tell you something funny, once, you know, because when we talk about luggage and all of that,
Uh-huh.
I remember years ago, maybe about 15, 20 years ago,
Mhm.
I said, I'm going on vacation
Uh-huh.
and I want to see what it's like not to take any luggage. Okay.
Mm.
So I
Uh-huh.
literally went with no luggage.
Wow.
Okay. And I said, I'm just going to go where I'm going and
Uh-huh.
just buy everything that I need there.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And
Wow.
that was like a, you know, it was like a lightweight because you have to stand in those lines with the bags and all of that. And, you know, I end up spending more money, of course, going shopping, but it was just a nice feeling. It's just something I wanted to do. And I did that.
Lorraine, that's something, to our listeners, that might be something people can do because that can be liberating, you know, because think about it. So many things that we carry as baggage are stuff that we just carrying as baggage. You know, it's like, why am I carrying this? Well, I don't know. I've been carrying it for so long. I think it belongs to me. No, you picked up this baggage from your parents. Your parents gave you some baggage of criticism. You picked up your baggage from some teachers. Some teachers told you you couldn't be anything. You know, forget this thing about you need to get a good job. You know, uh, doing something with your hands. So you have all this baggage that other people have given you, and so, that's Lorraine, thank you so much. That's an incredible exercise. And say, listen, just buy yourself a ticket, get on the plane and go. The interesting thing, when I used to work for Reverend Ike, because he had 5 different houses, he never traveled with any baggage
Mm.
because everything he had was in each house. He didn't have to take. So if the clothes he had in the house in Long Island, the house in Rye, the house in California, the house in and so it was a whole different mindset. And when you were saying that, I'm like, that's what Reverend Ike did. That's what he did. He had what he wanted, what he needed wherever he was going. But for us as an exercise to say, let me just leave all the baggage. Let's leave the physical baggage.
Yes.
Let's leave the psychological baggage, the emotional baggage, and let's go and let's fill our lives with just the things we want. Wow, what a great exercise.
And you know what? You can actually just create it. Just create what you want, the new things that you want in your bag.
Mm,
And what you realize is that you don't need all of this stuff. You know, I
mm-hmm,
don't need the criticism. Now I'm gonna, you know, there's nothing wrong with constructive criticism, But if you're going to speak negative to me, I don't need to be part of your world. We have to stop inviting people to put things in our bags,
Mm.
and we just have to start saying, I'm going to start from today, not worrying about what other people say, what other people do, because most of the successes and most of the failures, especially the failures, is a lot of times because of things that people said and did to a person, even church people. People stop going to church not based on doctrine. They stopped going because somebody was talking about them. So
Yeah.
what we need to do moving forward, and the pandemic taught me so much, retaught me so much, that we just have to be even more kinder to
Mm.
people. It's not about money. Don't get me wrong. I'm not sending my checks back or anything like that. But it's the things money can actually do for you. And every nonprofit organization, Dr. Harris, is looking for what?
Mhm.
Money.
Yes.
Money.
Yes. Yes.
And people misquote the Bible. They
Mm-hmm.
say the love of money is the root of all evil. I said the lack of it is
Mm-hmm.
the root of all evil, But we have to just help individuals to create their new you,
Yes. Yes.
and and people need to know that they have the ability to create, just to recreate who you are, or
Yes.
who you want to be.
Wow. Well, Lorraine, that is so powerful. We do a whole seminar on the new you and helping a person find that new person. I was looking, we have a copy of the book in the background, and you're one of the people that has been there when the book was just a thought.
Yes.
Was just I'm going to write a book. And it's like, yeah, everybody says that. But you were there, and I think you saw a lot of the things that we put into the book. You saw them in their very early stages. When you first encountered the book, what was your thoughts about it when you interacted with the 12 Universal Laws of Success?
Well, first of all, I'm like, he finally did it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he finally did it.
Mm-hmm.
And he just didn't do just a regular color.
Mm-hmm.
He had it bold. It had to stand out, with the
Uh-huh.
bright yellow,
Uh-huh.
like the school bus,
Yes.
So you can't just pass by the book. It's like, wait a second, let me grab this. And
Mm-hmm.
then the title of it,
Mm-hmm.
all right? And but my first encounter, number one, like I mentioned, is that you finally did it.
Mm-hmm.
And everything that's in that book, everything that's in that book, I just want to share with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
It's not things that were made up.
Mm-hmm.
These are things that Dr. Harris went through, and all the people around him have, he's seen all of this stuff. These are firsthand experiences. And why it helped me, because it was like a guide to stay on course, on the road to success. And
Mm.
success could be anything. It was just not about money, just period. And that's what really guided me. And I made sure that all of the people on my team throughout the years, and I followed you, when it was session number one. And then every Saturday you had session number two, and then the next. And I was like, man, he's really serious. He's up to 100 and something. I kept on watching. And,
Uh-huh.
and that's, that was really what got me back then. And
Mm-hmm.
still today, you're still talking about the same thing. You just got a one-track mind when it comes to the 12 universal laws of success. And you don't just talk about it, you're being about it. And also you have people like myself who's living example from that 12 universal laws of success.
Wow. Thank you so much, Lorraine. I love it. I remember coming to your house one time, and you were the first person, that I personally knew that had a swimming pool of their own. I just love that. I remember coming, and I'm like, man, this is like your pool for you. you know, it's like when you see other people's pool, but there's something about seeing somebody accomplish greatness. So many times, one of our most powerful contributions is to be an example, to let somebody know that a person just like you, just like me, that I know that I can talk to was able to achieve great things. And that's been such an inspiration. I mean, that really, I've always been a homeowner, but a home for me was a home. And that was kind of coming from the country. You always, even if you're on the rabbit box, let it be your rabbit box. Okay. But when I came to your house, it was like beyond a home. It was like a statement. It was a lifestyle. And I really salute you for that. And I guarantee that, many people who've come to your home have been transformed by it. You know, have you seen that when people come and look and experience your home, the pool and everything?
Well, I just thank God, because goals can become a reality. And I
Hmm.
just like for people to know that it's possible, because I had, the realtor wanted to know all the things that I wanted in the house. I gave her everything that I wanted. I said I wasn't going to be looking for a lot of different houses. I just
Mm.
wanted this. My kids were little at that time, so I needed a pool. I needed a trampoline. I needed a playground. I needed spiral staircase. I needed X amount of bedrooms, walk-in closet, garage, all that kind of stuff. The only thing I didn't get was the spiral staircase.
Mm.
And I just wanted to just kind of, I want to back up just a little bit and Herb
Sure.
talk about how grateful he was and all of that. I just want to say that this was the rest stop for Herbie in between coming from New York and going down south. Okay. He would always stop off at exit 4. Even if I wasn't there, I would say, Herb, don't worry about it. I left the door unlocked. But he was always able to just stop through, relax, get a nap, want to take a shower, whatever. But that's what, and when you have people around you, that means so much to you, and when you're overly excited about other people's success, Herbie, because I
Mhm.
know I've always been overly excited about all the things that God have blessed you with.
Mhm.
You had brownstones in New York, when people like us didn't have brownstones.
Uh-huh.
You had property, you counsel people, you had all kinds of stuff going on. And that just made me feel great because I knew somebody that looked like me, was able to achieve these things. And
Mhm.
it wasn't an envy thing. And it's not about envy and jealousy. We can't have those things in our space because we can't grow. So I
Mm.
definitely, I'm grateful, but to God be the glory. And I just thank God for everything I have. And Herbie, I just want to throw this little piece in.
Mhm.
I want to just throw this little piece in. People ask, so what do I owe a lot of my success? I say a lot of my success, most of my success, number one, I believe in God. And number two, I've been a faithful tithe payer. I wasn't smart. I wasn't math smart in school, but I
Mhm.
always knew what 10% was. Okay.
Yes.
I always knew what 10% was. So
Wow.
automatically, and then it doubled through the years as I got older and became much wiser. But you got to do, that's part of the golden rule. You just got to
Yes. Yes.
give back, whatever, institution you worship or whatever, you just got to give back because it's not ours anyway.
Mm.
And so I just wanted to kind of throw that in there
Yeah.
because part of the 12 universal laws of success, you have a lot of nuggets, major nuggets in there. And those are some of the things that I got from that. But I just wanted to throw that in there as a
Wow.
sidebar as well.
Well, Lorraine, tithing, if you think about, in the country where you have the pump and you pump it to get water, and there's always a cup of water, a bucket of water there next to that pump, because that pump will not work. You have to pour some water in. They call it prime the pump. And
Yes,
when you pour that water in, it moves through. There's always like an air bubble down in that pump. When you prime the pump, that water goes down and connects you to the infinite water that's in the earth. And so tithing is like priming the universal pump.
mm, powerful.
You don't know how much water is going to come out of there, but the fact that you put something in means that you
Yes,
believe that there's abundance there, that whatever's going to come out is going to be enough to take care of you.
absolutely,
And so
absolutely.
that tithing is, people talk about it lip service, but it's a mindset that you have to prime the universal pump. And the beauty about it is that you don't know what's coming forth. It's faith that whatever it is going to come to me. you know,
Right, right.
Whatever I see may be based on my condition and my exposure, but there may be things coming to me that I don't even know what it is, but I know it's coming to me.
But Herbie, you kind of was born into all of that with Reverend Knight, hanging out with him
Yeah.
for years and years and years, and tapping into with Dick Gregory and all of that. So you've been pouring in.
Mhm.
You've been pouring in and pouring in from way back because of the people that you were surrounded with. That's what they believed in as well.
Yes, yes. Now, Lorraine, when we look at where you are right now, though, I think all of us have those David and Goliath moments, those times in our lives when, I love that. That's one of my favorite stories when I preach, when I speak, David and Goliath, and that idea that there comes a time where a Goliath, some obstacle, some obstruction, some barrier, something that's standing there to keep you from going where you want to go, to keep you from becoming the person you want to be? Were there obstacles or any main obstacles that, like stopped you in your tracks that you had to really grow through? Not just go through, but grow through. Any obstacles?
I have many. I could tell you two. I remember I had just come back from New York to California, and I got home. Like I was getting ready to go to a meeting, and when I got to the house, it was pitch black, and also my car, it was on stilts. Okay, all the tires was off. My ex-husband was trying to stop me from what I had to get done. And he called on the phone because, you didn't have cell phones back then. And he said, how is it being in the dark? I said, dark? It's not dark in here. I said, what are you talking about? He said, I bet you won't be going to the meeting tonight or something like that. And I called my coach. Her name was Elsie Nixon. Her name was Elsie Nixon. And I told her what happened. She said, girl, I'll be right there to pick you up. I went to the meeting like nothing ever happened, but I had the opportunity right then to just break down in tears and just stop everything because I was given that kind of hand. The other time is maybe 25 years ago. I came home, and it was dark. This was when I was in New Jersey. And guess what? I just didn't pay the bill. So it was dark. It was pitch black. And I tell everybody, because now we have cell phones and things like that. So I tell everybody, no matter whatever happens in your life, make sure your phone is never cut off. Because you can still communicate, because in business, you got high-low moments. People say, don't you ever get real low? And I said, I have high lows. I don't get so low that I'm under the covers and I stay there for days and weeks. I can't afford to do that. And when that happened, I had to think real good. I was helping so many other people, Herbie, that I forgot to take care of my own responsibility, like paying my bill, like paying my bill first. Okay. So when things get grim, you don't have anybody to call on, and then when others, and we were just talking about that a few minutes ago, you got to take care of number one first, just like when you get on a plane. And they say, first things first, if there's a challenge, you have to put your own oxygen mask on first.
Yes.
So I've learned that and I've persevered through a lot of challenges. My husband, Kenny, ended up with throat cancer. They gave him 4 months to live. And in the midst of all of that, I still had to continue doing what I had to do, taking care of him and also the business and things like that. But there's a lot of things, kids not acting normal sometimes. But things happen, but I think those things happen to help us to grow. And I could write a book on all the challenges that I've had. People just look at you how you are today. They need to ask, how was it along the way? Everybody has a story.
Yes.
And I know you have many.
Yes.
You have many. We all have them, but you don't have to wear your problems. Nobody needs to keep hearing about it over and over again, but your stories do need to be told. And I'm so happy that that just kind of came right back to me right then. That question.
Yeah. Wow, Lorene, you are, and being a lady, like when you were talking about the situation with your I guess your ex-husband, but how people see you in a certain way that's different from how you want to see yourself. And that can be a big barrier. And I'm sure in entrepreneurship, people see them, they let other people's vision of themselves impact their own potential for themselves. Have you seen that?
Yeah. I've seen individuals, case in point, the person who introduced me to network marketing or direct sales, she was powerful. She was powerful, but her husband, just told her so much negative stuff about herself. You're not home with the kids. And she backed off and never, ever did anything. She stayed in a regular job. And, I just want to just share with individuals that you have greatness inside of you.
Yes.
No matter what anybody else thinks. And I just want to also share, our friends and our family want to see us do well, but don't get too excited. They don't want to see you do that well. Okay. They don't want to see you do that well. So you got to tap into people who see greatness in you, people who have belief in you, Okay, but you got to first have belief in yourself. How do you get that? You have to get it from above. And once you get permission from above, just keep it
Mm,
moving. You got to
mm.
keep it moving. So no matter what somebody brings up an old story, you know, you might have stole something, might have been incarcerated, that's not you anymore. That's not you anymore. So don't let your past stagger you from moving forward. And that's the best way I can really, you know, I could go in a lot of directions with that, Herbie, but I think that's the critical part because I do a lot of coaching and that comes up all the time, because, and the people who can hurt us the most are the people who are the closest to us, Herbie.
Wow. Yes. Yes. Now, I see this happen fairly often with the male-female relationship. And sometimes I know as a man, some men get intimidated by a successful woman. And intimidation to the point that it doesn't even make bad sense. They will literally undermine her potential to help their family. Have you seen that, or has that ever happened to you?
When I was buying this house, I remember I was dating a gentleman many years ago. He's now passed on. And I called him and I said, guess what? I'm in Cherry Hill and I'm getting ready to buy this house. And the house back then was about 200 and something thousand dollars. That's almost 30 years ago. And he's like, what? Are you crazy? And the next tone he heard was a dial tone, click. I didn't need that in my ear because Herbie, my credit was already bad. Okay. I had the money, but my credit was bad. So I didn't need the negativity. I needed the positiveness because I knew this was going to be my house. The next time we talked about the house is when it was closed and I had the key in my hands. Okay. Because you can have the wrong person in your ear and that will bog you down when you already have crazy stuff going on. Credit is bad. You got to have good credit. I didn't have any of those things going for me, but I had the money.
Yes.
I had the cash. So I had to go into some major negotiation and I couldn't have had. Can you imagine if I listened to him? It's like, what? 200? You crazy? You'll never be able to get that. Never. I'm never going to be talking to you again. Click. And that's why, because a lot of times the people are closest to us, some people sleep with the enemy, you know. Some people share pillows with the enemy, with the dream stealer.
Yes.
And we're not trying to break up relationships or marriages or anything like that, but you just got to applaud the people who are there. God bless that person, male or female. God is not going to give one person all the gifts. You probably have a gift, but you don't want to shine with your gift. And I think women today, Herbie, and I got to just take a few minutes to talk about this.
Please, yes.
Back 70s and 80s and, probably in the 60s, women were in the background. Let's keep it real. Okay. But after a while, every able body had to be up and out and making things happen. And the reason women are so successful today, because we're into nurturing, we're into caring, we do that kind of stuff anyway in raising families. So any man that's intimidated by that, they have a challenge with themselves, not with the female. And I want to encourage men, if that's you, check yourself. Okay, look at the person in the mirror and say, you are great, you're awesome, you're wonderful, because most women are going to applaud them and uplift them anyway. But if you have a powerful woman in your space, in your life, just thank God every day and uplift her, make sure her hair, make sure she have an appointment for her hair, make sure her nails is always done, make sure she's looking good. If she's asking you a million questions, it's okay. And just listen, because at the end of the day, this is my evaluation. At the end of the day, the money's coming into that same household.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. The money's coming into that same household. So just applaud whoever it is that's in your space, if it's male or female. And yes, I know it happens a lot, Herbie, because I meet a lot of women who is, when they come to the meetings, it's like, how are you doing? I'm doing great. No, you're not. Just let me get a hug. And then you pour out everything that's happening with that person who they love, who they appreciate. The priest supposed to be the priest in the home. And so let's just uplift. Let's from this day forward, let's just uplift, whether it's male or female, because God gave everybody a gift. Just find what your giftedness is. And I'm convinced, you'll be applauded as well. And if not, so what? God applauds you anyway.
Wow. You know, that made a chill go down my back. Wow. The water went down the wrong way. But Lorene, you've said so much today. You've spoken to entrepreneurs. You've spoken to women. You've spoken to dreamers. You know, you said, if you can see it, you can be it. Don't let anything stand in your way. If you're sleeping with the enemy, you got to make some changes. Everybody is not for everyone for all time. I think one of the things that I had to learn in life was everybody is not for the whole trip. You know, life is a long journey. And it's your journey. Just because somebody's walking with you today doesn't make it their journey. Okay. And
Right.
so there's a point at which you have to leave them and move on to that next level. And I think one of the things that I've always admired about you, many times, especially women, but men too, men don't show it as much. When you're an entrepreneur, there's that period of loneliness when, like, you're the only one that seems to see the vision. Have you ever had to deal with that where it's like, I gotta get rid of some of these people around me. I gotta just focus on the vision because right now, you know, the scripture says faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. So it's like I want it, but I don't see any evidence of it coming, but yet I keep moving.
Yeah, yeah. And with that, I always tell individuals, and what I do myself, I just stay focused. I just stay focused on what's ahead.
Mhm.
And I said, if you just laser beam focus, and laser beam focus to me is like if you thread in the eye of a needle, you're putting a thread through the eye of a needle. You can't be looking to the left and to the right. No, the thread would never go into the to that
Mhm.
eye of the needle. You have to stay focused. Okay. And
Yes.
that's why the rear view mirror, you're supposed to glance. You're supposed to glance back, not stare back. Glance back periodically. You're supposed to look straight ahead. But
Yes.
if you let look straight ahead and just stay laser beam focused on whatever the cause is, whatever the cause is, whatever you see, because sometimes somebody else can't see. Most of the times, somebody else can't see your vision.
Yes.
Somebody
Yes.
can't see your vision. You know, because who would have thought? I think it was 2007. Your book came out.
Yes.
2007, 2003, 4, something like that. I remember
Uh-huh.
back then. Okay, who would have thought
Mhm.
that 20 something, close to 30 something years later, here you are,
Mhm.
talking about the same conversation. So we
Mhm.
have to make it plain. Once the vision is plain for you
Yes.
and you made your connection with the creator,
Yes.
and you might have some good support system around you, but
Mhm.
if you
Mhm.
don't, they will show up.
Mhm.
It will show up when the party, because people will come out to see you burn when you're on fire. So when you blow up and you're on fire and you're rocking and rolling, you're fulfilling your
Uh-huh.
dreams, and you go say, hey, how you doing? This, that. No, remember this, you're the same person I came to purchase something, and you said,
Mhm.
no, you don't want none of this over here.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
But you gotta be kind still. We still gotta be kind, and we
Mhm.
gotta be humble.
Mhm.
Okay, you got to remain humble at all costs. And that's my prayer always, is help me to remain humble above everything. And I just want to share something, because you got to be careful, because the people that you meet on your way up, you're going
Mm.
to meet them on your way down. Okay.
Mm.
So have the vision, just stay focused on whatever it is. And you might put a time limit on it, but God's time is different than our time. You
Mm.
might have set the pace for 3 years or 5 years. Sometimes it takes 20 years for that vision to come through.
Yes.
And so, what if individuals are saying, you know, Herbie, you're still talking about that 30 years later,
Mhm.
or, you're going to buy this house, or you're
Mhm.
going to buy this car. That's the same thing you said 10 years ago. Well,
Mhm.
10 years ago, that's what I wanted. Today, it's something different.
Mhm.
And so, what if I don't get it? It's not your dream, it's my dream. So
Mhm.
don't let other belittle your dreams and your goals and your aspirations. Just stay focused.
Wow. Well, I tell you now that's what you say in the club. They say drop the mic. In the church, they say that's a take up collection movement. Well, Lorene, now you've been working with a company. You and I think, are like like those kind of rocks. We get with a company and we ride that thing all the way to the bank and beyond. Now, you've been working with your company. Did you want to give a shout out to your website, the work that you've been doing for so many years and transforming lives?
Yes, I'm with a company called Ameriplan USA, and I've been with them for the past. I just celebrated 25 years this
Wow.
past January. I'm going on 26 years,
Mhm.
and this is all I do besides my coaching and all of that. But as far as network marketing, it's the only business I do. We market health and dental benefits, and guess what? We just rolled out a pet plan. So
Mm.
we have pet discounts for your dogs, your cats, all of that.
Mhm.
And like Herbie said, I'm a person who, when I get into something, I stick with it till, I don't leave companies. Companies usually leave me. And
Mhm.
this is my third company in 35 plus years that I've been involved in the industry. And in addition to that, I had my book. I wrote my book after finally talking about it. Your Move or Game Over. It's based on the game of chess, and you can
Wow.
get it on Amazon and all the major platforms. And my website is yourmoveorgameover.com, or either you could go to gorichmom.com, any of those, and you can actually reach me there. But Herbie, it's been such a ride, and it feels so great to not just be bouncing all over the place. At some
Yes.
point, your credibility kind of gets shot.
Yes.
You
Yes.
told me about this $1 million opportunity 5 years ago, and then you came back again 3 years later, and then
Uh-huh.
something else, and then it's
Yes.
something else,
Yes.
But definitely, I'm just so excited to be working with you again. And with your daughter, I just can't wait to see her. I just know this guy from way, way, way back. I know where all the berries, all the bodies are buried. I know everything, everything.
Well, I tell you, I love, and I'll make sure to post your information because you have been, for those of you who are entrepreneurs, like you say, so many entrepreneurs get in what they call the NFL. They say, "What's that? Football? No, no friends left."
Mhm. Yeah.
Because they've had so many, they go from pillar to post. But when you find the right company and you work with it, that's what helps your credibility. And that really helps your psyche because you're working on the same thing. It's like, when you build the pyramids, they didn't happen overnight. They built them over a period of 20, 25 years. You look at some of the buildings in Europe, they've been building on them for 1,000 years. And that's what it is. You build a dream day by day, step by step. Well, Lorene, we're at the end of our program today. You have just shared so many good things. Is there one final nugget you would like to share with the audience? I tell you, you've like dropped diamonds across the field. Like say, diamonds in the sky, diamonds in my mind. You dropped a lot of diamonds today. Is there any final point you'd like to share with our listeners?
Would probably like to say that people take action for two reasons: the hope of gaining something and the fear of losing something. Where are you at today? Where are you at today? The hope of gaining something. What do you want to gain? Or the fear of losing. What do you want to lose? What are you afraid of losing? Take action on either one. Just take action. Take action today, please.
Wow. Well, Lorene, thank you so much for being with us today. I think that you've shared some nuggets and some thoughts that I like to think that stories heal people. That when you said it earlier, when a person can see what you were able to accomplish, how you were able to get where you are, they can say, well, you know what? The one thing I know is it's possible.
Mhm. Yeah.
So thank you so much, Lorene, for being with us on Success Talk. Thank you for being an example for all entrepreneurs. Thank you for being a lady who has so many times, I think our young women need to see, there's that program, Be a Boss. They need to see women in that light of being in charge, as they say, being large and in charge. And you've done that so magnificent, no, so magnificently. And I thank you. So remember this, the best is yet to come. One more question. Where do you go from here? That's a little thought. You've done so much. What are your next moves now?
Just continue to empower other individuals from the coaching, and continue just doing seminars and things like that. And just start taking people outside of their regular norm, let them travel. outside of the community. There's so many people never leave their community. And so I'm
Yes.
doing a lot of travel and taking people to places they only dream about. So we want to
Yes.
start living the dream. If it's a
Yes.
car that they want, we go to the dealership. We want to start taking them and doing things. And so we're gonna get together, you and I,
Yes.
in this last stage here.
Mhm.
I definitely want to partner up, so that we could, because there's some lives that we need to be touched, that need to, we have to. It's a mandate that we
Yes.
must with this new generation, the
Yes.
millennial generation.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Lorene. Thank you, audience. Thank you, everybody, for being with us today. You may want to listen to this over and over. Do so. Please share it with other people. But whatever you do, remember this: you can be what you want to be. You can do what you want to do. You can have whatever you want to have, always knowing that the best is yet to
Yes,
come.
sir.
And so it is.